Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So in tonight's video, we're going to go over all the new banners within the Chapter 4 Future Mythos, and I'll let you know what I think about them. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. Okay, so in tonight's episode of Should You Summon, we obviously are focusing our attention on the Cyan Scyther, which is a really neat way to kind of say her. And of course, we'll go right into the Fateful. Again, pretty standard here. Pulls 1 to 9, 0.8% chance. And obviously on pull number 10, you have a flat 10% chance using 1,000 paid stones or your Heaven's Trial subscription ticket. Again, with all banners that are using paid stones, you do have access to all the newest units and all the most powerful units, including Eva, which is our newest unit. I believe you can also get the black-clad swordsman as well as the red-clad flamemancer. Let's just go all the way down here. Right there. Although, like I said, these are definitely not boosted. Only the Cyan Scyther is boosted up to 10%. And of course, unfortunately, bots, Rainbow Sisters, and Knights still pervade the banner. All right, and keep in mind that if you are chasing Cyan Scyther, you do have 2 shots at the Fateful encounter for this particular one. All right, and then also, for those who pay stones as well as using free stones, we can quickly go over the 2 versions, Wind Force Edition for the Cyan Scyther, as well as the Blunt Force Edition. Oh, sorry, just Wind Force Edition or Slash Force Edition. Very similar in theme to the other Alter units being released. Since Cyan Scyther is a Slash Wind unit, you have both kind of themes and elements being promoted here. So as of yesterday's update, in patch notes, they did tell you what the 4 units on the Slash one is. Obviously Cyan Scyther, as well as Kikyo, Shannon, and Radius. Keep in mind that there are only 4 5-stars available in this particular banner. However, one thing I will say, note that because it has already been 2 banners since, we do have Eva in this free banner. And so you do have the off chance for those who missed out on that 3rd year anniversary global first unit to off banner that and sack that particular unit onto your team. Obviously, again, we have our bots, Rainbows, and Sisters. Won't spend too much time on them. Note that this one will not have those 2 new altar units. And the Blunt is the same thing. Oh, sorry. I keep on getting mixed up. Sorry about that. The Wind is the same thing. Cyan Scyther with Cynthia, Felmina, and Claude. All right. So first of all, I'll just quickly go over Cyan Scyther's special abilities. She is another Wind Zone setter. One thing unique about her is that although she can VC in and set Wind Zone, mind you, when she VCs in, she actually gives herself a barrier up to 3 times. So she actually can help herself survive a lot more, tank a few hits, and so on and so forth. But what's really unique is that she actually has a built-in move that allows you to preemptively set Wind Zone. So it's very similar to a Zone Grasta, kind of like the Slash Zone Grasta or the Fire Zone Grasta. If you have some of those, or you've seen me use them, you can essentially use these kind of moves or Grasta to unlock a 1-turn AF. Not quite as powerful as, say, a Flash Strike Stance AF. However, you can get a lot more synergy since you are using, in this case, Wind Zone, and she, as a Wind Zone setter, does have that end of turn boost as well. More powerful than AS Claude, where AS Claude, I believe, gave you 10% weapon damage up to 40% total, which is 10 per move. She gives actually 15% per move, up to 4 moves if you do 4 wind moves. And note that this is not weapon type damage, this is wind damage. So obviously she works best in wind zone, and obviously helping other wind units do a ton of damage, especially if you get 4 moves either on a turn 1 AF or somehow in turn 1 or turn 2 before you decide to wipe them out with a large AF. Like most alter unit, she also has the ability to lock in a zone with another zone, and that locks in things for 2 turns, doubling the benefits of the existing zone, not Flash Strike, mind you, but everything else, either weapon or element. So in the case of Wind Zone, which she'll be in, she's going to unlock and power that up to 100% wind type damage instead of 50%. And keep in mind, when she does that, by the way, she also powers herself up, power speed and int for 60% in zone. So obviously you start off with the preemptive wind zone, then you increase and lock in another zone with power, int, and speed boost to herself for 60%, and then you just slaughter everything with her spam move, which is, by the way, guaranteed crit, increased damage depending on the number of buffs on her. So obviously she can give herself a ton of buffs. You have armor and gear can also give tons of buffs as well. Should be no problem to get maximum of 5 buffs on her. And yeah, crazy types damage. She does have some other minor moves, but we won't really talk about that. So, you know, in the case of this particular banner, the thing is, as many of you have noted, the Cyan Scyther's unit itself is great. Like, I mean, this alter unit is very powerful. Obviously, with that preemptive wind zone move, you can really unlock a lot of strategy. The problem is the other units on the banner are just not as impressive. Like, you know, we have Cynthia here, which is probably the worst of the multi-element type units. I would venture to say she's probably one of the first generations of them. Obviously, you have things like Nakoko, Ultra Dewey, and so on and so forth. And so she's not useful at all at this stage of the game unless they unlock an AS version or a manifest for her that fixes some of her problems and her DPS. Now, AS Claude, again, if you have this alter unit, you probably won't need AS Claude. AS Claude is certainly a much older unit. In my opinion, obviously much weaker. That is to be expected when you are playing a game and you have newer units. And so I do have, for example, AS Cloud, and I still use him from time to time. But if I had to choose between the two of them, he really doesn't hold a candle to Cyan Scyther. And finally, Felmina. Now, Felmina is a unique one in that even though she is a much older unit, if you unlock her manifest, and keep in mind, she has no true manifest yet, and if you have the trends within WFS, you know that all the older units are eventually going to get a true manifest anyways. Felmina, even at this point in the game, can do very respectable blunt wind damage, also applies physical resist down, and so on a physical type wind team, she still finds very good use, and also in blunt teams as well. So out of the 4 units featured on the banner, only obviously Cyan Scyther is worth one, and then Felmina would be a decent off-banner hit. The other two, man, not nearly as potent, shall I say. Likewise, with the Slash Force decision, we have Kikyo, Radius, as well as Shannon. And the worst part is, this is normal style Kikyo, normal style Shannon. And that just, honestly, that just sucks, guys. I mean, first of all, Radius, just like AS Claude, has been power crept by Alter Iska, or ES Iska. Both of them can do Slash Zone a little bit better than Radius, although, like I said, I mean, Radius does have Fire Element, which works really well with Fire type Slash teams. Her DPS is obviously lower, but I still find her very useful. I still use Radius to this day, and she does have more synergy with Fire type Slash teams, but in terms of raw power, certainly doesn't hold up to the newer units out there. Kikyo and Shannon, they need their ASs to really shine. I mean, that's really all to say about that. And so, I mean, should you summon? If you're desperately looking for Cyan Scyther right now and can't wait to grind out those opuses, then, you're going to be forced to summon on one or both of those banners. In general, since both of those banners don't really stand out, just go with the one you have the least units of if you're planning to summon. Otherwise, if you do have any form of normal style Suzette, either a 4.5 or a 5, I would highly recommend trying to grind out those opuses. Now, I have a lot of you asking where opuses are found, have I found any, how lucky are we, and so on and so forth. Bear in mind, opuses are much harder to grind than codexes and treatises or chants. They only drop in very hard red key dungeons that aren't point gatherers. So, the ones that you gather points, like the older IDAs and stuff like that, you can't get those kind of opuses, only in the ones that you essentially already dropped treatises or codexes. And so, as an example, so far we have 4 chapters of the Mythos Future, and I only have 2 Yuta opuses and 1 Red Scorpio opus. And so, certainly not really far along in my quest to get them. And additionally, you cannot buy them in the shop. You have to farm 3 of them in order to side grade. So, if you are wanting them much sooner than later, you do have to summon. However, bear in mind that because the older units on the banner are really not super useful, I would temper your expectations on summoning for them. That being said, Cyan Scyther is an awesome unit. I'm waiting to add her to my team and side grade her when I can. And let's be honest, I mean, if she is an alter form of a favorite unit of mine, then we'll just leave it at that, and I want her. Yeah, no questions asked. Okay, so let me know in the comments below if you are planning to summon on Cyan Scyther, if you're going to pass, and your plans for that. And like I said, I am still relatively low on stones, and so as a free-to-play, I highly recommend anyone who's a light spender or free-to-play only to grind for those opuses. Other than that, time to start the chapter. Again, I did mention I'm on holiday, so uploads of videos will be a little bit slower, and I do apologize for that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.